This is NTV.
It is the 6th day of May 2020. Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. You're watching NTV at 1. My name is Zainab Ismail. We have all the stories making headlines across the country and beyond. Now, the government has warned of more rainfall in the coming days and advised to residents of regions prone to flooding and landslides to move to safer grounds. Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i and his devolution counterpart Eugene Wamalwa say the heavy rains have so far killed some 194 people. The Meteorological Department has warned that the situation is not likely to subside soon, with heavy rains expected from this coming weekend, especially in the central parts of the country, Rift Valley and Western, as well as some parts of the coastal region.
Tafadhali kama unaishi karibu na mto kama Nzoia, Sabwani, mto Nyando, mto Tana na mito nyingine katika taifa letu zimefurika, zimevunja ukingo na uko hatarini wewe na familia yako. Sikiza maelekezo umepewa na serikali kuu, serikali za county, county commissioners wetu na wataalamu, uweze kuhamia sehemu zilizo salama. Wengi wamekuwa wanauliza tunahamia wapi? Kule kwenye county commissioners wanajua ni wapi wanahamisha watu.
The reservoir of Masinga, as per this morning, we've reached historical figure of 1057.86 above the sea level. Maximum reservoir is 1056.5, so you can see it's above. So it is a serious issue. And we are telling the people who are downstream, Karisa, all the way to Tana River, things are worsening. They are not the same as we were here. So we are asking them to move. Let them not wait for water, because this is historical.
I would like to ask citizens of our great country, our fellow citizens. We want to be as polite and as persuasive as we can ever be. When we tell you things as government that this is dangerous for you, your health and the rest of all of us, it's important for people to obey this. There are parts of this country where now we are going to be forced to sometimes apply a bit of force and move people out of the areas they have decided to erect. This is science, this is not fiction, and it's not even politics, so that we spend time debating whether we should do it or we should not do it.
Well, the heavy rains have seen many water bodies flood. Islands in Lake Victoria have not been spared by the unprecedented water levels. Fishermen from 4 islands who are now counting losses received some donations in a bid to improve their lives. Bernardo Juang joined the humanitarian team for this report.
Since December, the waters of Lake Victoria have been rising, flooding beaches and leaving several homesteads along the lakeshore submerged. Homa Bay, Siaya and Kisumu are especially facing this wrath. According to fishermen, the raging floods have left a trail of destruction and promises to get worse. About 100 canoes and engine boats are lying idle as fish stocks are now submerged.
Maisha iko ngumu sana. Kwa maana huwa sisi tunategemea samaki, matumaini yetu yote iko kwa samaki. Lakini sasa hii samaki hiyo hakuna. Vile unavyoona hii watu yote ambao wamesanyika hapa wanategemea tu samaki. Kama samaki hakuna biashara inaweza endelea vizuri. Hiyo ndio changamoto ambayo tunayo.
Vile maji yameongezeka, mapato ya samaki imedidimia chini. Shida kubwa kabisa, bila maboti hapa hakuna kuishi. Sasa hii tunakosa nafasi ya kuweka maboti kabisa kwa ujumla. Kwa wakaaji warembo wote tunaangamia kabisa nafasi ya kuvuruta maboti.
Maji kulingana vile hali ya mvua, maji yanazidi kuongezeka. Ukiamka leo upate maji iko hapa, kesho utapata maji imeshonga. Yaani hata wale ambao karibu hapo wanaogopa kwa maana hiyo maji inazidi kukuja. Sana sana kama upepo imebadilika, mawimbi inakuwa kubwa kubwa. Inabomoa nyumba zingine na inapenya kukuja ndani ya hii center.
The Homa Bay County Beach Management Unit approximates that at least 78% of the beaches are previously occupied in the region have been submerged.
In the entire county, we have incurred a loss of approximately over 300 million. In Remba alone, we are counting over 60 or 70 million in terms of losses, approximately. But you realize that each and every day there are new damages, there are new houses being submerged, there are new boats that are being broken.
Adhirika kabisa sababu zaidi ya boti 28 imevunjika, manyavu ya watu zinapotea, hakuna kwenda ziwani sababu upepo ni mingi. Tunaweza sema hapa tunatumianga mahali nitanga kutega ziwani Kifua. Ni kama mita 6 ya maji imekuja juu. Sasa hata wavuvi wakaenda kutega, unaona boti inakuja bure.
A team from Red Cross in collaboration with the Homa Bay County political leaders visited the 4 of the most affected islands to donate non-food items. The Red Cross is sounding a warning to the residents that the situation could get worse as the rains continue.
Homa Bay County, we have a bigger damage in Rachunyo North, areas in Osodo village, in Choi Beach and in Kobuya village. We have a number of effects in Central Ward in Rachunyo North and now in the islands and most beaches along Lake Victoria following the backflow of the lake.
But if the rains are to increase, then we'll urge them for those who may be able to move to safer areas, even if it's off the island.
Both the national government and the county government, because they both have emergency fund, they actually need to move swiftly and organize the way these people will sleep in an area like this, organize for makeshift tents.
Bernard Ojwang, NTV.
Meanwhile, the lives of hundreds of residents in parts of Laikipia County are at risk after Gaterima Dam broke its banks. Kanyuka and Gitwamba dams are also overflowing, making the situation even worse.
In the past weeks, the country has been experiencing heavy rains that have resulted in deaths of over 150 people as well as the destruction of property and farms. Many Kenyans have been left homeless. Residents of Gaterima in Laikipia County risk being part of the growing statistics after rivers burst their banks following the excess water from the dams.
Governor wetu ajaribu akuje hapa mashinani aone vile mambo ilivyo.
A team of officers from the Water Services Regulatory Board and their counterparts from Water Resource Management Authority visited the dam for assessment.
Kuna watu zaidi ya household, zaidi ya 200 household downstream, na kwa hivyo ni ya muhimu hao watu wote wakuwe mobilized by administration, wote watoke.
Kwa saa hizi mambo imekuwa wazi na kuwa wazi zaidi. Sijui tutapitia wapi. Tuko na soko ambao tunapeleka manyanya, sijui tutapitia njia gani.
On Tuesday evening, some residents from both Tigio and Gaterima villages could not access either side due to flooding. Judith Cherono, NTV.
One more body has been recovered in River Kagir in Baringo County, weeks after the drowning incident involving 7 police officers. The recent retrieval brings to an end the search mission of the 7 bodies, as all remains of the officers have now been recovered. A multi-agency team comprising the police and locals have aided in the search of the missing bodies. Police Commander Robinson Diwa has, however, urged the residents of Yatta to hand over the rifles that have not yet been recovered to the nearest police station.
Nataka kuomba wananchi wa eneo hili ya kwamba yeyote atakaye pengine pitia ama kupata hizo silaha hatujapata waweze kuwasilisha kwa kituo cha polisi ama kwa chief, na tutashukuru. Vile nimesema, tunawashukuru kwa sababu wametusaidia pakubwa na walichangia pakubwa ndio tuweze kupata hizo mili ambazo zilikuwa zimesombwa na maji.
Well, the Senate's Roads Committee is proposing for the closure of the ferry at the Likoni Channel in Mombasa. Members of the committee raised concern over the lack of social distancing at the ferry crossing in light of the coronavirus pandemic. The Kenya Ferry Managing Director Bakari Goa explained that a lack of personnel to ensure social distancing is a major challenge. The Cabinet Secretary for Transport, James Macharia, who also attended the online committee meeting, assured that the new ferry with a capacity of 3,000 will be commissioned tomorrow.
We don't have capacity to ensure social distancing because these are long distance and we don't have the personnel to do that. We don't have the infrastructure to ensure the social distance on that. But on board the vessels, and again the Senator mentioned, we mark all the ferries to accommodate social distancing.
At any point in time, you can only operate 4 ferries at some point in time. The new ferry coming, now they have 5. It has much such a capacity. Because I think I'm told even with social distancing, it can carry possibly up to 3,000. That came on the 25th of April. And I've told them to make sure that that ferry is commissioned as quickly as possible. There were a few technical issues that we're dealing with, and MD can clarify. But I think I'm told it should be in operation by tomorrow, Thursday.
Trans Nzoia County government has come under heavy criticism after it announced that it was seeking an investor to pump in financial resources towards the 2 billion shilling referral hospital project. Speaking during the inspection of the construction progress, Governor Patrick Khaemba defended the decision by the county, which he says has been unable to raise funds due to the ongoing budget cuts. The construction of the 400-bed facility began on July 2015, but the governor said that its completion would not guarantee its functionality due to the lack of personnel.
Na tumepata matatizo kwa watu kuelewa. Watu hawajawahi kuona project kubwa kama hii Trans Nzoia, project complex sana kama hii hawajawahi kuiona. Ndipo unaona watu wenye hawana ufahamu wa kutosha, hawajaelewa kutosha, wanatoa maneno, wamekuwa kama sasa pengine matapeli. Kwa sababu mtu anaweza kusema, oh, tumetumia pesa mingi haijaisha. Yes, pesa mingi, lakini kuja utazame imefanya nini.
Now, 45 revelers at a pub in Umoja in Nairobi were arrested for drinking at the bar in contravention of the Ministry of Health guidelines against COVID-19. They were arrested for drinking at Harry's Tavern pub. They were first locked inside the premises after the bar owner started a commotion with the police, explaining that he had the licenses to operate. The arrest of the revelers comes despite the government's order that all bars should remain closed. The arrest came barely hours after the CS for Health, Mutahi Kagwe, cautioned against the sale of alcohol at restaurants to customers bent on breaking the law. Those arrested claimed that they were having the drinks to accompany their meals. The pub also sells meat from its butchery and kitchen. Buruburu OCPD Adamson Bongei stated that the 45 will be arraigned. Well, away from that, the Burma market, that is famous for meat products and eateries frequented by Nairobi residents, has been closed by the traders who have demanded that the government give them a report about one of their colleagues who disappeared on Monday and has not been seen since. The traders say that there have been some other underlying issues that have caused friction between themselves and the administration of the area, which their colleague was looking into, and his disappearance might be related to the same.
The normal hustle and bustle that is the characteristic of the Burma market was replaced by angry traders, chanting and demanding for answers from the relevant authorities. They claim that things have not been okay in the market for a while, and until all is resolved, the market will remain closed. The traders say that one of their own, whom they identify as Cheupe or Michael Njoroge Mungai, who was following up on their concerns at the market, has been missing in action for the last 48 hours.
Tulichagua watu simamie kwa hii soko na wanatunyanyasa. Unaona? Ukiona hii uwanja inajengwa hapa yenye watu wamefanya mpaka wiki jana ameshikwa. Anaitwa Cheupe. Alishikwa Monday.
They say that their concerns have hit deaf ears before and they decided to take action for themselves. They claim that what is rotting in there is not only the remains of meat products sold here, but also pervasive corruption by the authorities.
Mambo ya corruption ndio inaleta hii shida kabisa zaidi.
Since their colleague disappeared, they say they have camped outside the Shauri Mall police station to get answers, but continue to get nothing more than an assurance that their friend is being looked for by the police. They claim that before Cheupe, as he is popularly known, disappeared, he had received a warning.
Alikuwa anatetea wanyonge, sisi wafanyabiashara wa soko. Na sioni kama ni kitu mzuri ile kitu yenye imefanyika.
The market that hosts thousands of traders supplies products to various parts of the city, and according to those who depend on it for their survival, its continuous closure could be bleeding them dry even further as the COVID pandemic continues to bite. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
All right, and we're going to take a short break here on NTV at 1. We still have a lot more we've lined up for you, together with other international news headlines making headlines across the world. We'll be bringing you that in just a moment. Let's take a break.
If we continue to behave normally, this disease will treat us abnormally.
Rashes again? Kiss Kids diapers. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Bye bye rashes. Bye diapers. Choose Kiss Kids.
Sonadol Extra imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli kupambana haraka na maumivu ya kichwa, mwili na hata meno. Sonadol Extra, hakika maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
The Governor of Kisumu, His Excellency Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o, is pleased to announce to all property owners 100% waiver on all outstanding interest and penalties on land rates valid from 24th April to 31st May 2020 to cushion them from the effect of coronavirus pandemic. Payments should be made to Kisumu County Revenue account details on your screen and deposit slips to be presented to the respective sub-county revenue offices for database update. Any unpaid rates after the waiver shall attract reinstatement of the whole amount owed. County Government of Kisumu, Harbour of Prosperity.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, Chief Justice David Maraga has indicated that the COVID-19 pandemic has exposed gaps in the preparedness of the judiciary in the use of technology. Speaking in Nairobi while receiving 38 laptops donated by the European Union, Maraga said that the donation would enable the Justice Department deliver e-justice in the midst of the ongoing pandemic. So far, the judiciary has been able to deliver approximately 7,000 judgments during this period. 18 of these laptops have been distributed to the Kenya Prison Service and 5 to the Department of the Director of Public Prosecution, Judiciary, the National Police Service, and Probation and Aftercare Services.
The crisis has also exposed quite a number of gaps, especially in the readiness and preparedness to upscale the justice sector services in the use of technology. It is in the context of this that we are very grateful that this donation has come at a very, very timely stage in the performance of our duties. We have experienced quite a number of shortages in equipment such as laptops and other facilities across the justice sector institution. The laptops will go a long way in facilitating the institutions to deliver justice to the people of Kenya.
The government is tightening measures to protect local industry from competition brought about by cheap imports. These measures are being taken in light of the growing participation by local industry in the production of personal protective equipment used to curb the spread of COVID-19. According to Industry Cabinet Secretary Betty Maina, the government is looking at how best to safeguard local industry through measures such as tariffs imposed on imports.
For textiles, for instance, the common external tariff is actually at 25%. So there's a lot of protection for local industries. And we're taking this to the next level because we have realized that the over-reliance on imports means that you're importing small things like this that you can make at home.
Now, following the agreement between the presidency and the banking fraternity regarding cushioning of borrowers in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, Standard Chartered Bank has restructured loans worth about 8 billion shillings. According to a statement from the management, the bank's restructuring exercises targeted businesses operating in tourism, building and construction, trade and manufacturing, and the micro, small and medium-sized segments. The bank's Chief Executive Officer Kariuki Ngari says the restructuring includes a 3-month holiday for loan holders, 12-month extension on personal loans and mortgage, and a 6 to 12-month credit card payment extension. And UAP Old Mutual has reported a loss of 3.4 billion shillings for the year ended December 2019, an increase from the 51 billion 518 million shillings loss reported in 2018. In the period under review, the company's total income declined by 4.7% to stand at 17.8 billion shillings, even as total expenses rose by 4.8% to 8.1 billion shillings. The company's management has attributed the deepening loss to challenges faced by the group's investment property portfolio due to the deterioration of the markets in Kenya and Uganda and South Sudan.
Side of the business reported a loss of 4.8 billion. As we said when we issued our trading update at Q4 of 2019, the property markets across East Africa have been softening, with rental yields declining. It is therefore unsurprising that when we received the valuations done by independent valuers, there was a significant drop in the value of our properties.
Let's now take a look at stories making headlines globally. And the Nigerian government has begun prosecuting lockdown offenders through a mobile court. The authorities say that since the country relaxed its lockdown restrictions, they have noticed a new challenge that some residents of the larger cities like Abuja are now wearing masks or maintaining physical distance. Here's a look at what is happening around the continent.
A day after the director and a senior official of the national laboratory responsible for coronavirus testing in Tanzania was suspended over alleged irregularities at the facility, Health Minister Umi Mwalimu has now formed a committee of 9 experts to investigate the laboratory's testing system. President John Pombe Magufuli has called on authorities to investigate what he suspected is a dirty game in the laboratory.
Sasa hivi naona hata watu wengi wameinuka, wanakwenda kwenye nyumba za Mungu, wanaomba, wengine wanafunga.
Cha msingi ni kitu kimoja tu kuzingatia Watanzania. Tuweze kujikinga wakati wa ufanyaji shughuli wa kazi zetu.
Tanzania has recorded 480 confirmed cases so far, with 16 reported deaths occurring there. In Abuja, Nigerians who don't respect safety measures in place to curb the coronavirus pandemic were arrested by a COVID-19 task force and prosecuted through a mobile court. Lockdown was relaxed on Monday to enable residents to work, but with strict instructions to comply with all restrictions and safety rules, including the mandatory wearing of face masks and social distancing.
For overloading, we always take them to mobile court.
Africa's biggest city, Lagos, got back to work on Monday at the end of a 5-week coronavirus lockdown. According to official figures, nearly 2,500 cases of coronavirus have been recorded in Nigeria, leading to 87 deaths. But as elsewhere, the true scale of the epidemic could be much greater given the paucity of testing. Up north, Morocco has launched a fleet of drones to tackle virus from the skies as it battles the coronavirus pandemic, deploying them for aerial surveillance, public service announcements and sanitation.
Well, at least 3.6 million people have been infected since the coronavirus outbreak began, while at least 250,000 are known to have died. In the global virus epicenter of Wuhan, Chinese youngsters filed back to class today wearing masks and walking in single file past thermal scanners. Senior school students in 121 institutions were back in front of chalkboards and digital displays for the first time since their city, the ground zero of the coronavirus pandemic, shut down in January. Teenagers sat at individual desks spaced a meter apart, seeing their teachers in the flesh after months of distance learning. Only the province's oldest students were present, seniors who are due to take the make-or-break university entrance exams. Return dates have not yet been confirmed for junior and middle school students. All right, and the World Health Organization says it does not recommend self-medication with any medicines against COVID-19. This was in response to questions regarding Madagascar's herbal tea, which the African Union now says is open to talk about. Even as Africa tries to find a homegrown cure, scientists in the continent and around the world have intensified research on testing and seeking a vaccine.
According to reports, the African Union has opened discussions with Madagascar aimed at exploring the safety and efficiency of a herbal remedy purported to cure COVID-19. Madagascar launched COVID organics to the market, with at least 4 countries expressing interests and some even receiving the herbal remedy. Comoros, the Republic of Congo, and Guinea-Bissau are some of these countries. Meanwhile, researchers for the Switzerland-based blood screening company Quotient have developed a COVID-19 antibody test that will check whether people may be immune to the virus. The MosIQ COVID-19 antibody microarray test has been approved by the European Economic Area and claims to have 100% sensitivity and 99.8 specificity claim, making it one of the most accurate tests for the COVID-19 to date. A first result is delivered in 35 minutes, with subsequent results every 24 seconds thereafter.
So it will take a couple of weeks or months to ramp it completely up, but 30 million is the capacity. And if it's needed, we can also double the capacity in a matter of about 15 months in case we need this going forward.
Antibody testing for COVID-19 is underway in California. The test costs $150 and provides a result in 15 minutes. But it is still hard to import worldwide as it is manufactured in China. The procedure is quick and simple. A prick to the finger to recover a droplet of blood that is then tested for coronavirus antibodies to see if the person has already contracted the virus and developed some level of immunity to it. All this within 15 minutes. On average, some 40 to 50 people are showing up daily at the site.
An enormous sandstorm over Niger's capital turned the skies a deep crimson red as a towering wall of dust swept the city, creating an impressive and menacing spectacle that was captured on film by eyewitnesses. The immense storm swept through Niamey on Monday, shrouding the city in an eerie reddish darkness, aptly summed up by an onlooker as kind of cool, kind of weird, kind of scary. Standing hundreds of meters tall, a vast dust cloud could also be seen as it swallowed the city, turning day to night for anyone standing in its path. No reports of damage or injuries have emerged from Niamey. Sandstorms are somewhat common across the Sahara Desert, where bursts of warm winds frequently kick up large clouds of dust and debris, especially in arid regions of West Africa during its dry season, known as a Harmattan, which typically runs from January to April. All right, now it's so good to hear your voice. I was worried about you. What would you like to do today? That sounds like ordinary banter between friends, but it is in fact from a chatbot created with artificial intelligence. Take a look.
The custom-designed chatbots in this case come from California-based startup Replica and are intended to be virtual friends for people needing a connection. AI chatbots have drawn increased interest during the global virus pandemic, which has led to a sharp rise in isolation and anxiety. More than 7 million people have downloaded and tried the app, which allows users to design an avatar friend or even a romantic partner. Another option in setting up the avatar is to see how it goes. Chatbots in the recent years have taken on new roles ranging from ordering tacos to making banking transactions. Bots such as Google Assistant, Amazon's Alexa, and Apple's Siri have become popular in answering questions and helping people find information. An AI mental coach created by startup Wobot Labs has also seen increased usage during the pandemic as it redesigned its program to address the crisis. One question is whether the bot can help real-life human relationships or whether users will end up preferring the synthetic bots.
Well, I'd really like to know your thoughts on that. Would you keep a virtual friend, or what kind of a conversation will you probably be having with a virtual friend? Well, let's take a look at stories making headlines in the world of sports. And Gor Mahia's Tanzanian goalkeeper David Mapigano has told the 18-time Kenyan Premier League champions to pay him all his dues, failure to which he will not return to the club. The goalkeeper has also told the club's bosses that he will not embark on any contractual negotiations before his salary arrears are paid in full. Gor has not paid its players' salaries running into 7 months, and there is a possibility of mass exodus of key players who are seeking greener pastures. The non-payment of salaries at Gor has been occasioned by the exit of Shat sponsors SportPesa in August last year. Well, the German government and state leaders are set to give the Bundesliga the green light this afternoon to restart behind closed doors in May after weeks of shutdown imposed to control the spread of the COVID-19. Politicians believe resuming matches in the first and second divisions to limit the economic damage for the 36 clubs is acceptable, the document showed. More than a dozen of the 36 teams in the two divisions are on the brink of bankruptcy, according to media reports.